Are you ready to talk about high-def stuff? I sure hope you are. I mean, you came to a channel with MultimediaJay in the title. You think I might get around to whatever. Anyways, so it's great to be back in widescreen where I can actually do this and have my hands somewhat stay in the frame as opposed to the 4:3 squeeze screen, square screen, old screen stuff where it would look kind of like I was doing this or something like that. Actually, I have to move over a bit in order to pull that off. Like this, you know, or something. Alright, whatever. We're back in widescreen, that's all that matters. Although, it's kind of weird that I resurrected the retro reel in order to have the January 2009 spoof parody thing in here that wasn't even on the channel originally for very, very long. Matter of fact, Zara Nizarak sent me a private message when after I was like, nah, let's take this down, I might take him off. He's like, too late, I saw it, and I'm gonna chime in on it, or something like that. But, okay, so if anybody wants to go back and watch his 6-year-old videos to where he mentions, one of my fans actually made a little parody, they're more than welcome to, but let's clear something up regarding this before we continue our discussion about the state of HD in 2015. Am I doing this to be a troll? Am I doing this to dig up old fights? Am I doing this to... No. This isn't about what myself or Zara Nizarak said 6 years ago. It's about the way things are now, and how the HD landscape that we have now deviates so wildly from the pipe dreams of the Blu-ray fanboys several years ago. And, I mean, it's worth talking about. And it's worth playing a little catch-up on. And, I don't know, maybe I'll stir up the hornet's nest enough that Z-Man will actually do some kind of HD Rants 3. Or is he actually going to agree with some of the stuff that I've been saying, kind of like Stoudman did in some of the comments, talking about some things earlier. But, yeah, that whole clique, I don't know. Sometimes there's a little bit of sandpaper between us tech folks and those movie buff types and stuff like that. But, alright, let's continue our discussion because we've got a discussion to continue. So I actually have a little show and tell this time, a little something that we're going to be talking about later on, because of course we can't talk about HD, Blu-ray, DVD, and the current landscape of this stuff circa the mid-2000s, what am I doing? We can't, I'm getting ahead of myself here, mid-2010s, without talking about... Say hello to my little friend! Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Walmart piece of crap Magnavox DVD player circa the mid-2000s. Yeah, that's what I meant by mid-2000s. Yeah, and obviously the reason why I'm showing this is price. We're going to have to talk about dollars and cents at some point later on, especially with all the fights about whether or not Blu-ray is still too expensive. But it'll be worth talking about when we get to it. So, this is a Magnavox model SH1T. I mean, this right here is an iconic piece of cheap electronics. And it may be a bare bones, no frills, 2-prong cable. Of course, doesn't have any metal parts or anything, so I don't know why it would need to be grounded. But this is a very basic, bare bones, no frills, Walmart special DVD player. It doesn't even output in HD, and it doesn't upscale. Look. Composite. What's that extra jack on there? Oh, you can send the audio through coax. Okay, so the sound is spiffy, but certainly not the video. Composite and S-video. Yeah, baby, we're talking advanced, aren't we? Freaking McDonald's toy type whatever. So, the reason why I even still hold on to this thing, though, and the reason why I'm even bothering put it in any YouTube videos anymore, I don't even use this. I have no use for it whatsoever. Why don't I get rid of it? Why don't I Craigslist the darn thing? Why don't I sell it? Why don't I donate it to an electronics museum, because it's nearly 10 years old? Is there such a thing as electronics? Yeah, like the Smithsonian or something's gonna want a piece of junk DVD player from the mid-2000s. Anyways, the reason why I have this thing is because it represented a milestone in DVD development. This was one of the very first $30 DVD players, which was completely unheard of at the time. Interestingly enough, Magnavox is a zombie brand. This isn't the original Magnavox television company. It's actually, at the time, maybe it still is, but at the time, the Magnavox brand was owned by Funai.
Magnavox is currently the brand worn by a line of products made by Funai under license from trademark owner Philips.
And Funai is an interesting company because my dad had a VCR back in the 80s. It lasted forever. That was a Funai. And I was like, and I mispronounced it as like fungi instead of reading it as Funai because I don't know, couldn't half read when I was a little kid. No, actually, no. I just wasn't very good at sounding out words. Actually, no, I was taught phonics. But anyways, for whatever reason, when I was like 6, I called Funai fungi. I was like, my dad has a fungi VCR. Maybe I was getting it mixed up with the Fuji track in Pole Position 2 on the Atari 7800. But anyways, oh yes, shorter or simpler videos, indeed. But this was a milestone because when these things started showing up, even if you didn't have an HDTV yet, the fact that a DVD player this cheap existed back in the mid-2000s was pretty much the swan song for DVD's product maturation. So, oh, big words there, Jay, huh? Yes, business terms, product maturity. Products start, if you ever study this type of thing, if you go to school for business or something, there's a product life cycle, and there's 4 stages. There's the question mark, the rising star, the cash cow, and woof woof the dog, the dog with fleas. If you've ever seen the Wall Street movie, you might be familiar with the term dog with fleas, referring to something being bad, declining, da-da-da. So, the product life cycle is question mark. We don't know what it's going to be. Rising star. Rapid product growth. This thing is on its way up. Cash cow is when it levels off and has to defend its market share instead of gain more market share because there's probably not much left to get. So DVD's kind of like that. Blu-rays, maybe it's like that. I don't know. But yeah, so cash cow status is the desired status for every product on the market. It's gotten as much market share as it can get, and it's making money, and it's just sitting at the top waiting to be dethroned, and a dog is the declining products. This was a sign that DVD had matured, and nowadays, with DVD being still as ubiquitous as it is, and DVD being as widespread as it is still, despite all those predictions, I was reading some comment or something like, oh yeah, somebody said, this is from 6 years ago by the way, Blu-ray is going to have total control of the market by 2015. You're a moron if you think otherwise. Yeah, it's been fun reading old YouTube comments for the last couple of days while I've been looking for materials for this, but this was a milestone with DVD. Now there is something similar for Blu-ray. I was looking at Blu-ray players, and there actually is a sub $100, actually there's a 50-something dollar Blu-ray, actually it might even be $45. There might be a sub $50 Blu-ray player out there. And guess who makes it? Funai. The same company that owned this Magnavox. They might still own the Magnavox brand. I'll have to look it up, but
Magnavox is currently the brand worn by a line of products made by Funai under license from trademark owner Philips.
Funai, again, having some product that can really bring down the barrier to entry to Blu-ray, or in this time around Blu-ray. Back then it was DVD. So when this thing came out, we knew DVD had matured. The $45 Funai might be something similar, maybe, but we'll look into that later on. Point being, we're eventually going to be talking about dollars and cents, but just like everything else between DVD and Blu-ray, the Blu-ray equivalent of this is more expensive. So there's still a cost difference, a gap to close. So, hope you've enjoyed my little show and tell.
Magnavox is currently the brand worn by a line of products made by Funai under license from trademark owner Philips.
Epic fail.